Hello and welcome back to Mellow Miniatures. Today we have these three miniatures, just slightly out of focus to keep the suspense a little longer. They are these three, a Space Marine, an Orc and a Gretchen from the Warhammer 40,000 starter set, 2nd edition, from 1993. These three today I'm going to be painting in accordance to the painting guide that comes with the box. Yeah, let's take a look at the miniatures individually. So here's the classic Space Marine sculpt. Try and do a 360 spin for you here. It's a lovely sculpt to look at. He's got his gun, his backpack, his helmet, his big armour like they all do. Not much has changed in the time the Space Marines have been out. They've got a little bigger and they don't all have this slot base as these ones do. There you go, you can see that a bit clearer now. Yeah, this one is going to be painted like a Blood Angel. So that should be quite fun. I've not done a Blood Angel before, I've only done Ultramarines. So I'm happy to give this one a go. Next up we've got the Orc. The Orc is another lovely sculpt. Slightly shorter than the Space Marine, but when he doesn't have in height he definitely makes up for in weapons. They have this lovely tunic and the sort of cartoony Viking helmet with an axe to go along with it and a big chunky gun. This one's going to be painted like the Goth scheme as shown in the box. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one as well. And finally we have the Gretchen. Gretchen is a teeny tiny little sculpt with, well, he's small everything apart from that really sharp spike on the top of his head and his massive gun. The Gretchen as well will follow the Orc scheme, as that's what Gretchens like to do, pretend they're orcs with running around with their big guns. Now these things, you get 80 of them. No you don't, you get 40 of them in the box. You get 80 miniatures in the box and 40 of them are Gretchens. So you get 20 of the other two. So the box is mainly these guys, which I'm super happy about. As my Age of Sigmar things, they're mainly Gretchens as well. So 40k has actually taken over on the Gretchen front, but my love of Gretchens did start for Age of Sigmar. Right then, that's the guys introduced. Let's get them painted. And just like that, here they are. We have the Blood Angel Space Marine, the Goth Orc, and the little Gretchen down to his side. I'll look at them individually again, talk you through the paints I've used, according to the paints that's the painting guide tells you to use. Let's give it a go. So here's a closer view of the Space Marine. It's as standard Blood Angels, red and black, and I'm really quite happy with how this turned out. So the paints I used for this, just put them down. We have Mephiston Red, which is the main colour of the armour. I use the Abaddon Black to do the edges of the armour panels and the holster, the gun, things like that, the kneecaps. The gun and the eagle on the chest was done with Retributor armour, classic gold. It's one of my favourite colours, is it? The silver parts on the gun mainly, and the does he have a sword? I did the sword black. So the parts on the gun, lead belcher, probably my favourite colour of the Citadel colours. And then for the little skull, if I can get it, there we go, the little skull on his head, I have lots of skull-ish colours, but none of them are anything really used for skeletons. And rather than buy another one, I decided to use Talon Sand, and with it being so small, I think that looks really, really good. I decided to leave the bases grey, as the paint scheme says cover them in sand first and paint them the classic goblin green. Goblin green is obviously a colour I don't have, and I didn't have any sand. The sand hasn't arrived on time, so they're grey, and they will get green bases eventually when the sand arrives. But for now, this is how they're staying, and I'm quietly confident with them. I quite like them. Let's have a look at the orc. Here we've got the Goth orc, and I'll give him a quick spin. Now this one is further away from the paint guide. All the Blood Angel was missing was the transfers, because I don't have any 90s transfers and couldn't really be bothered going into eBay to get them. I think he looks fine without them. This guy is missing the checkerboard pattern that should be on the sort of almost loincloth bit and on this shoulder here. I think that's all he's missing. Oh, there's 2 red stripes on the axe. I wasn't really bothered about them. And then of course the transfers that go on him. Again, wasn't really bothered. So I was happy calling it at that. Let's look at the paints I used. So this time I took a different red and went with Evil Sun's Scarlet, just because I think every miniature uses the red, and if they were all the same red it would get quite boring. However, they do all use the same black. This is Abaddon Black again. They do all have Lead Belcher, just because it's a really good silver. The skin is painted Death Guard green. I really quite like the dark Death Guard colour. And then the skulls are done again with Talon Sand. You'll notice on the miniatures there is no highlighting. I don't do it. I quite like the cartoon blocky colours. I think it works really, really well. Highlighting makes a miniature look great. I'm just not at that level yet. I am happy to call these done. Again, he'll get the base like the Space Marine will. But other than that, I'm happy. Let's look at the Gretchen finally. Here we are with the Gretchen, who's in the similar colour scheme to the Orc. This is a really, really nice sculpt to work with. It's tiny, but the amount of detail they get into this is amazing. Obviously these days there would be even more detail in it with the way the miniatures have gone, but this is brilliant. This is actually a miniature that I use the most paint on in terms of colours. So let's look at the colours. For the skin, moot green, simple, just a lovely light green. I didn't want it to be the Death Guard again, because I think the Gretchen should be a little lighter, a little more cartoony. For the gun, Mornfang brown. We've got the silver bits, Lead Belcher making its 3rd appearance. For the black bits, Abaddon Black making its 3rd appearance. The red, Evil Sun's Scarlet again. The skulls, Talon Sand, although I bet you guessed. And there's some blue bits. There should be his socks, which I'll see if I can get there. And then there's a big lump on the back of his hand that I missed that should be blue as well. Well, I don't know, it's not actually in the paint scheme, but I presume it's a band similar. Which I've gone for Macragge Blue. I really, really like this colour. and I just think the subtle parts of it really make the miniature pop there. So that's it, there's the three of them. Let's look at them all together one last time. Here we are again with them all together. Just before we do go, this is the paint guide. So here's the three of them, if this will get in focus, there we go. There's the three of them, so there's the Blood Angel Space Marine, and with comparison, there we are. Doesn't look too much different. I'm quite happy with that. Then, of course, we have the Goth Orc, which is here, and apart from the highlighting and the checkerboard pattern, doesn't look too much different. There's some red lines on the edge of the armour there that I didn't actually notice until now. But yeah, that's subtle differences, but nothing major. And then finally, we have the Gretchen here, and he's a lot lighter, but I think Moot Green is better for a cartoony Gretchen, so that's what I went with. The front cover also shows this Ultramarine here, who's a Flamer, I believe, and the back cover shows a lot of other different chapters, everything. Imperial Fists look really nice. Legion of the Damned, but that's some detailed firework you've got to do there. Crimson Fists, the Blood Drinkers, who to me look too much like Blood Angels for me to warrant painting. But I might have a go with some of the rest of them. I'll have to see how this goes. For those of you who don't know, the inside of the book is 4 images, which shows you them painted white with the undercoat, and then the base coat, the highlight, and the finishing touches. And all of them get this treatment. The Orcs have some alternate Goth colour schemes. The Gretchens have the same, but other than that, show the same 4 steps. These say to prime white. These were primed in grey, and I still think they're okay. I think they're perfectly bright enough, and altogether I'm happy with them. So that's it for today. Yeah, let's hope we can carry on with the painting on the website. See you around.